Hi there, I hope all is well. Today I have an experienced mortgage broker, Lucy Gagliardi, with me, and in this video we will discuss how new immigrants can get mortgage in Canada. So, Lucy, what do you say about new immigrants and how they can get mortgage in Canada?
There's definitely a lot to say about new immigrants. But firstly, I want to say, Kamran, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. And so I very much appreciate this opportunity. So, with respect to new to Canada, there are so many different conceptions and misconceptions about being new to Canada. I suppose to start, I'd like to talk about the program that CMHC and Sagen, which is formerly Genworth, have for new to Canada immigrants. Okay, did you know that a new immigrant can have as little as 5% down for the purchase of your home?
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, you can have as little as 5% down. Of course, there are some requirements, if you want to call it that. And at the end of the day, there's certain types of properties and certain types of jobs that you require. But essentially, the only thing that a borrower would need to qualify, or one of the things, I shouldn't say the only thing, I'm going to rephrase that. One of the things that a client needs or a potential borrower needs to qualify for this particular program is a valid work permit or permanent residency.
Right.
You can have as little as 5% down. And of course, do keep in mind that with regards to that 5% down payment, we have to be able to track those funds for a minimum of 90 days. So if you're bringing funds from overseas, from a different country, we still have to be able to get a minimum of 90 days history on those funds. And the funds need to be in Canada. They have to actually physically be here for a minimum of 30 days in order to satisfy the anti-money laundering legislation that the government has implemented. Okay, so that's probably that is, to me, the absolute most important factor that we have to discuss, more so than the amount of the down payment, more so than what type of employment is required, as well as what type of immigration status.
Right.
If we do not have the 90-day history on the down payment, and if we do not have those funds in Canada for 30 days, there is no way we can get a mortgage.
Oh, I see.
Absolutely
Okay.
none. Okay. So that is absolutely the most important thing that I can tell you. That if you are a first time home, or sorry, if you are, I keep saying first time home buyer. My apologies.
Yeah.
If you are new to Canada, the first thing that you need to think about and the first thing that you need to discuss is they need to discuss it with you and they need to discuss with their mortgage professional. Of course, I'd love to be that person to help,
Right.
but we need to talk about down payment.
Oh, okay.
And then the next thing, like I said, would be employment and immigration status.
Okay. So, but if they land in Canada and they say that they have more down payment and enough amount to afford the mortgage, so can they buy at that time?
So they can buy anytime. Essentially, what they need is they have to have a minimum of 3 full months of employment in Canada. Now, of course, if you have a corporate relocation program, if you have a corporate relocation program, there are exceptions to that 3 month. You have to be working for at least 3 months with the company that you're working with. You
Right.
should not be on probation. Okay, it has to be basically a permanent position.
Right.
Those funds for the down payment have to be in Canada for a minimum of 30 days. And we will still need 90-day history. And when I say, there's a common question that comes up, well, how do I show them a 90-day history if the money is only in Canada for 30 days?
Right.
What they would want to see is at least 60 days, if not 90 days from overseas. They want to see the transfer come from that bank account into a Canadian bank account. And then they want to see that money in a Canadian bank account for a minimum of 30 days.
30 days, okay. And what about credit history? By that time, they will not have credit history.
It's not the most important thing because that's something that they're going to help build. Oftentimes, what lenders do is they do ask for credit history from the country that you lived in. Again, each individual lender is a little different when it comes to showing credit history, but for the most part, they're not as concerned with it as they would be in a normal circumstance.
Oh, okay. So funds and then job and so and qualification criteria is same for first time buyers. I mean there is a specific, it goes in relation with income.
Yes. So there's always going to have that. It doesn't matter what program you're in, any particular special type of program, they will always look at your income to qualify the amount of mortgage they're able to give you, for sure.
Oh, okay.
And of course, if you've got, anywhere from 5 to less than 20% down, so let's say up to 19.9% down, you fall within the CMHC or Genworth guidelines, which means your ratios are a little bit tighter. And what I mean by ratios are your debt to income ratios are going to be a little bit tighter, and they will only allow you a 25-year amortization. If you have more than 20% down, they will look at an extended amortization to 30 years.
Okay. So for new immigrants, what is debt ratio and how?
So that once again depends on whether you're working with the CMHC or you're working with Sagen, which is Genworth. The ratios, let's say the maximum ratios are 39% with your gross debt service ratio. So gross debt service ratio is your housing costs, consistent of your mortgage. So that's principal and interest on your mortgage, your property taxes, heating costs, as well as condo fees.
Okay.
So when I say GDS, that is housing costs, and they cannot exceed 39%. And total debt service ratio cannot exceed 44%. And total debt service ratio will include your home costs, so mortgage, property taxes, heating and condo fees, as well as any other debt that you may have. Car loans, student loans, credit cards, RSP loans, line of credit balances, that sort of thing.
Right. And one thing I also noticed that when new immigrants come, they finance the big, high amount cars. So does it affect to get mortgage later on?
Absolutely. Did you know that for every $400 payment, it reduces your mortgage capacity by $100,000?
Oh.
It's very, very significant. So we can, listen, I'm the first person to love a fancy car. I love my cars. But at that point, and it's funny that you say that, because I just had this conversation with my son, who, is looking to make plans to purchase his first property. And I had this very specific conversation with my daughter just before she bought. I said, do you want to drive a pretty car, or do you want to have a nice roof over your head?
Right.
And they said, well, we want both. I said, great. I'm so glad to hear that. And one day you will have it. But what's more important for you right now? Right. And so, like I said, when I explained to my daughter and to my son, actually, that you will qualify for $400,000 mortgage. However, if you purchase a vehicle and there's a $400 payment, your $400,000 pre-approval drops to 300,000.
Yeah.
And my daughter said, well, I can't buy anything. And I said, that's your choice.
Right.
You want to drive a pretty car, or do you want to live in the property that you want? Could be a
Right.
condo, could be a townhouse, could be anything.
Yeah.
But how important is driving that car and making that $400 payment in comparison to a home for you and your family?
Right. Yeah.
So yes, in a nutshell, it very much affects that. And I will also add that it doesn't matter if it's a lease or financed. A
Oh.
$400 payment is a $400 payment.
Oh yeah, some people say in financing it will affect or lease, it's nothing like that.
It's a monthly obligation that affects excuse me, that affects you. It's a monthly obligation.
Right. Okay, yeah. So I think this is sufficient information right now for the new immigrants. If they have any questions, they can contact you and me. I'll include the numbers in the video. I hope you liked this video. Please share this information with your friends and family, and let me know if you have any real estate or mortgage questions, and we will cover those topics in our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. Bye now.